as your host, Rodrick Swift, and boy, do I have the Swift sauce for you. Musicians Matters Podcast, live right here, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Wednesday on all digital platforms on Positive Power 21 Christian Media LLC. Let's go!
Welcome to another session of Musicians Matters Podcast. And on tonight, we're going to have a dynamic show. I'm greatly honored to have a certain Sir Tom Brechtlein. But before we start talking to Tom, we're going to have the first Agape Production Global LLC Former Attire Musicians Matters Scholarship Gala. That's going to be November the 30th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the gas station recording studio on 2270 Lose Road, North Las Vegas, Nevada, 89030. Let's welcome Tom. How you doing, Sir Tom?
Hello.
You hanging in
Hello,
there,
Robert? Yeah, everything's cool. I was working on a track today that I'm about to send in, and so it works out great. I needed to take a break. I'm a little bit toast because, close quarters, when you start doing tracks for somebody at home, it's almost like time doesn't exist outside,
Yeah.
So I came out for air because, Anyway.
I was checking you out, and I was like, man, my brother is moving. He's really working these tracks like crazy. But,
man.
Before we go to talking, let the world know a little bit about yourself, bro. How did this all start?
Oh, geez. I grew up in Long Island, New York, in East Meadow, Nassau County, and I had a great music education in the public school system because they had all these really cool programs with a lot of great teachers who cared about kids, And from there, I went to Nassau Community College, and they had great people there that were great teachers, especially a guy named Ronnie Gould, which was he was the principal percussionist of the New York City Ballet and the Joffrey Ballet, and he was great. But prior to that, I had a great teacher by the name of John O'Reilly, not John Riley, John O'Reilly.
Okay.
Who came up in the school system too, and then he became quite a contributed to Alfred Music and became an executive, like the band program, and wrote a lot of great method books. And but he was a wonderful teacher. And then I ended up getting an audition with Chick Corea, and then there I was, and I sat on the road, and I just went, how the heck did I get here? It's sort of like a big rock hits you in that. Well, not a big rock, but I'm just saying, it's like you go, okay, you really did it this time. Now you gotta, prove your worth. You know what I mean?
No, but you really did prove your worth. You really earned that. So I'm really thankful and honored to have you on this podcast tonight because it's truly a pleasure just because I heard your work and I've been hearing your work for quite some time when you started with Chick Corea. And so it's like truly an honor just to have you on this platform tonight.
Well, same here. I think the last time we talked was probably 2 or 3 years ago, was it? With a bunch of other drummers and stuff.
Yes, it was the first time I started with Musicians Matters, but what it was, we was visual, and that's now we just audio with another platform, but I'm just truly grateful just to have you on my other platform. You know, it's a pleasure.
Well, I'm so glad you called me to participate in this. It's really great. Thank you so much, man.
Awesome. Yeah. So when you first started your career with Chick Career or whatever you started, did you how did you practice? Did you practice on, you know, like us? When I started, I my first kit was a paper kit and pots and pans. Did you ever have that aspect of
same thing?
You had the same thing?
Oh, same thing, yeah. And then with the real drums, I got a snare drum one Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a ride cymbal one another Christmas. And then the big Christmas that was when I got my bass drum and my bass drum and a 12-inch tom, 20-inch bass drum, 12-inch tom. And then for my 16th birthday? My 16th birthday, I got a floor tom.
Wow.
And then I had, you know, I had a hi-hat. I had, you know, bass drum pedal that said, you know, those pedals that say pedal on them.
Uh-huh.
They say pedal, and it's like pot, what do you call it? Pot metal, potash metal,
Uh-huh.
whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And then both of the hi-hats and the, you know, I had, you know, junky cymbals, but they worked.
Mm-hmm.
They worked. You know, and I had, you know, and the snare drum, the pedals would be falling apart and stuff, and you know, when I finally made, I finally made the A in my sophomore year. Made the A jazz ensemble, and on stage stuff would just fall apart. And then finally, you know, I started working and stuff, and then I started buying my own stuff, and took care of that really quick.
Yes. Now, Tom, what made you become a good musician?
Oh gosh, I you know, it's sort of like it's in that old story. It's like I've always known what I wanted to do. You know, whether it was going to be guitar, drums, or bass. And back then, I don't know how old you are. I'm 66. I'll be 67 this year. But the radio, the AM radio, had all kinds of cool stuff.
Right.
From Motown to folk music,
mm-hmm.
to rock and roll to pop and all that stuff. But you know, they had a lot of, you know, there was junk there, but there was a lot of great stuff. You know, they played the Stax Vault stuff as well as the, you know, the really poppy stuff. And then, you know, it was just really great music all over the place. And it just made me want to play music. And then I think what sealed the deal is every Memorial Day they'd have the marching bands. And that would just flip me out, all the brass and all the drums, you know, the guys with, you know, and I just remember the snare drums being like a burst red, you know, red into yellow into red, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, the local fire department, you know, and the high school and the junior high, and, you know, and just as a little kid, you know, like, 5 years old, you know, 4 or 5 years old, I just used to go nuts. I'd be the first one on the street corner near the avenue, you know.
Wow.
Just waiting for that stuff to come down the street. And man, everybody, they played great. I'm pretty sure that everybody played great. You know, they say when you're a kid, you know, everything, but these guys, they really sounded great, you know. And that's what really started it all, you know. And, you know, I mean, Motown, the Beatles, what else? Miles, well, not Miles, but, you know, more like Art Blakey or somebody like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, and then big bands, you know, and then in my high school years, Thad Jones, Mel Lewis, and Woody Herman's band, you know, the later versions of those. Maynard Ferguson's band, and then he also had, quintets and quartets, and that were there, and I mean, I think, Kind of Blue got released early on, but, still there was, and I didn't know what it was. It was just like, I remember one time on PBS, they had which was really cool. I was sitting in front of the TV, and it was Max Roach. I didn't know who Max Roach was. I was like 5, 6 years old, but this guy, he was playing like a poem, not a tone poem, but like a drum poem. And I was like just sitting there watching him play. I'm going, holy Christmas! He's doing one thing with his foot, and then the other thing with the other thing, and his left hand and his right hand, and it's just like it was, like any kid that's interested in mechanics and stuff, and the way he made the drums sound, and so I mean that was pretty much it. There was a lot of music. A lot of garage bands on the block, Sal Cervellera, he won the Battle of the Bands, and they got a record deal, but I used to peek my head in the window, saw a real Hammond B3 and a real Rogers drum kit. I was, that was the best one on the block. That was the best band on the block. And then there were other bands too. But anytime during the week, there must have been 5 garage bands on the block, Wow. So that really inspired me. There's a lot of music, So I guess, does that answer your question? I could go on for days.
No, you can. No, you can. But I love jazz music, and it made me. It's making me excited, basically, just to be speaking to you live on this broadcast. Positive Power 21, and I'm literally speaking to a legend that I've been listening to for years. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I'm literally speaking to a legend that I have been listening to for years, and I'm talking to him. Tom, he played for Chick Corea. Man, one of my songs. I'm a say the tune dun 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 dun. Then you start that jazz group with it.
You're talking about Spain?
Yes. How did we get into that? So how did we get that? Because that's a lot of tunes and a lot of tapping on that.
Well, I bought a lot of his records early on. Starting. Okay. I mean, I went from, when he had the Electric Return to Forever, and I backtracked to, this is maybe 73, 74, and I remember advertisements of when Light as a Feather first came out, because we had a great jazz, station, WRVR, and what they would do is they played all with all due respect, old stuff, and then they played the new stuff, and if anybody had an album out, they played new album out. They played snippets of it during the week, and then they premiered the record on Friday night.
Okay.
So anyway, I started basically Return to Forever, and then you hear this stuff on the radio, but I remember the ads, Polydor recording artist, Chick Corea, with the new Light as a Feather record, Light as a Feather on Polydor Records. This is, wow, this Chick Corea guy, I got to check him out. And then the Electric Return to Forever came out, and I remember what happened was I was doing a book report that was due the next day. So, like all lazy students like myself, I was looking at the cover, the side cover that has the synopsis of the book. But to take all the big words and you just basically explain in definition the long way, so it didn't sound like, so it didn't look like you were copying directly from the synopsis of the book. But anyway, so I had PBS on, and it was Herbie with the Headhunters, and it was Chick with Returning Forever. And I mean, my goodness, Herbie was great, and Mike Clark was playing drums with him at the time. And then Chick comes on, with Lenny and Stanley and and Al, and man, I looked up and for some reason, I put the book down and said, forget about this. I said, and then I said to myself, I'm going to play with this guy one day,
Exactly.
And I was 18 at the time, or 17 going on 18, something like that.
Right.
And and I was listening, and then, later on, then I forgot about it. And then, then I bought, I backtracked, bought Now He Sings, Now He Sobs, and the first Return to Forever record, and then also when Leprechaun came out. A friend of mine had that record, and he played it for me. I said, holy Christmas. I heard Lenore, then I heard Night Sprite. I went, oh, what is this, And from then on, I was just and I was listening to the Mahavishnu Orchestra. This was all brand new music. Larry Coryell and the 11th House. Well, the first record was called Spaces, and then Joyous Lake, which was Pat Martino, and then I think the Pat Metheny record, Bright Size Life, came out, and then even before that, it was Mawandishi. That was one of Herbie's groups, and then I backtracked to getting off the beaten path. But anyway, I got interested in Chick's music, of course, Herbie's, and then Miles, from the early days until Bishop's Brew, and I think, geez. Anyway, and I just listened to those records, and you memorize all that stuff, And then, meanwhile, you're in high school, you learn how to read music, and you learn how to do this and that, and, you're playing to records, and like you do, like I'm sure everybody has, it's nothing new, it's the same, and, and that's basically how I learned all that stuff. And then when it was time to audition for Chick, actually we played the stuff. We didn't play any of the stuff that I already knew. Okay. We played. Friends wasn't even out yet. The album Friends. We played the One Step was the first thing that we played. That's the first tune on the Friends record, and then we played the. Then after that, I remember that 6 hours. I played with 3 bass players. I played with Ken Smith, Rick Laird, and Anthony Jackson. And anyway, what we played was the One Step, and then we played the sort of like Elvin section of Cappuccino. Okay. If you'd have to listen to that cut to understand what I'm saying, it's almost like Elvin and McCoy type thing, And we did that, and then Mad Hatter was just about to be released, and we just played some vamps from this tune called Dear Alice. And then we played a couple of tunes or something, and then that was it. And then I auditioned one more time, and then on February 10th at 10 o'clock in the evening, the snowiest day of the season, because New York, I shoveled the snow about 3 times. There were these drifts. And back then, you only had one phone in the house, And, it was right near the door. I don't know if you remember that, but that's like, little place, little phone stand and rotary phone. And
I remember.
And my sisters were still living in the house. I mean, I I had just turned 20. I was going to be 21 that year, and I said, "You get the phone call, make it short."
Exactly. Yeah.
You get a phone call, make it short. I'm expecting a phone call today. You had what? I'm sorry.
I remember those phones when we had to pay a quarter just to make a phone call, and it only gave you a short amount of time.
Yeah. Payphones.
Payphones. Yeah.
I know those all too well. Yeah. So, anyway, he called, and I thought he was going to basically say, "Better luck next time, kid," And instead, it was like, "So why don't you come on the road with me?" I went, "Yeah, sure." And I was very cool and calm. And then he said, "I'm going to get off the line now. The tour manager's going to come and talk to you and going to tell you what you need." And then I hung up the phone and I went nuts, basically.
Wow.
So, it was 2 years before, I made the decision when I was 18, and by 20, I got the gig. So it's almost like be careful what you wish for.
That's true.
And then But
you was playing with him till he passed, right?
What's that?
You was playing with him till he passed, right?
Well, no, I played with him from 78 to 82, and then I played with Joe Farrell after that a little bit, and then I also did some studio work was doing studio work in LA, and then I played about a year and a half with Wayne Shorter when the Atlantis record came out.
Okay.
And then after that, I played with Al Di Meola and did a recording with him as well. I did some recording with Wayne, and then recorded with Di Meola and went on the road with him. And then what happened after that? So it was 87. In between, did a shortcut and played with Christopher Cross in 1983. His drummer got sick, and I subbed for him. And so then after Al, I did a little bit with Jean Fonty and who else? Oh yeah, then Ricky Lee Jones, Manhattan Transfer, Natalie Cole.
Oh yeah.
And then started playing with Robin Ford, and we put a band together with myself and Roscoe Beck called Robin Ford, the Blue Line, and recorded, a lot of stuff there. And then went on to play with Eric Johnson. And I'll think of some other people, but I can't think off the top of my head because I'm like, I got cabin fever, because
you play with a lot of people. That's why you call it.
Yeah.
That's why you're a legend.
Ah, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Usually, go ahead.
I'm listening.
No, sometimes when people call me a legend, I think of Broadway Danny Rose when they're sitting in the back room going, "Do you remember what he did at lunchtime?"
No,
and I'm thinking, is that kind of a legend, or is it like,
No, you deserve that. You deserve that, sir. I'm sorry about that. You deserve that.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I do, Robert. I do. So how are you? How's the weather over there?
Well, the weather is right now is going, it's like at, the highest is 56 right now.
Oh,
and
that's good.
The lowest is 47 or 30, going to 34 right now. So now
it's not too bad.
Low 50s right now.
Yeah, nice. Enjoy that.
Yeah, definitely. What is the best advice you can give to an upcoming musician?
Well, I'd always say, my chief advice would be, just follow your goals and don't let anybody say that you can't. You know, don't let anybody tell you you can't, because you get a lot of people that say you can't, and it's like, so what? It's just barking dogs at the fire engine, you know, at the wheels of the fire engine. Just know what you want to do, follow that road, you know, and go for it, you know. If you do have a goal, you know, if you want, you know, or if you want to be a musician, I'm going to be the best musician I can be, you know, and go for it, you know. Go see live music.
You're right about that.
If you can, if you're old enough, or if they let you into a club, you know, accompanied with a parent or something like that, go, man. Go to all the music festivals there in the summer, you know. And I remember there's this place called Salisbury Park. It's now called Eisenhower Park, which was right near our house. And, I mean, I saw Peter play when he was like 16 playing with Stan Kenton. He was either 7, or maybe he might have been 17 or 18. I met Count Basie. I saw Sonny Payne play, you know. I saw Buddy Rich play, you know. I saw Toots Thielemans play Bluesette when I didn't know who Toots Thielemans was, you know. Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I mean, these guys did free concerts in the park. It was amazing, man. It was just the coolest. Sergio Mendes in Brazil '66 at that time, or maybe it was, Brazil '66. You know, and it was just like, it was way cool, man. You know, it was, like I said, there's all kind of music happening in the neighborhoods, you know, and all kinds of, you know, all kinds of stuff going on. I mean, even at that time, I don't know what it was like on the West Coast, but East Coast was pretty, especially, now, you're in Jersey? Are you in Jersey, or where are you?
Right now I'm in Las Vegas. You saying it right.
Oh, you're Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Nevada, yeah.
Oh, the West Coast, yeah. Well, Vegas is cool too. You know, I mean, you got the casinos, but you know, there's tons of music going on. You know, but at that time, New York, all the way up and down New York, there was all kinds of music happening, and you know, upstate New York, like a lot of great jazz players from upstate New York, and a lot of great musicians from upstate New York, and you know, and anyway.
When I went to Nashville, I experienced exactly what you're talking about downtown. So there was like stores, there was shopping centers, there was like restaurants, and then there was like joints, juke joints that you can have. They would have their music bands, and either inside or outside of the door as you're walking down the street.
Yeah, man.
Lifetime.
Stand by the door or sneak in, you know. It's okay, you get thrown out. You're not going to get arrested.
Yeah,
you know, you
right.
sneak in there and, you know, and you learn something. And I mean, I remember going and trying to remember what the drummer played, you know. I sound like a real old man when you go like, yeah, we didn't have iPhones back then, you know, to record that stuff, you know. You have to use your memory.
No kind of iPhones, nothing. Now you got iPhones, you got everything that records everything for you.
Yeah, and there are advantages to that too. But what I thought was great for us is just we had to remember what it was, and so we kind of gave what we remembered, we just kind of played and kind of made it our own real quick, you know?
Right. Okay, I got it.
Like the way we would play it, you know? So, yeah.
Let's know about what you do as far as of studio sessions that you play music for different people. Basically, you can be in one part of the city playing something, and another person be in another part of the country playing something, and y'all coming together. How did you do that? That's very interesting when I seen that.
Well, I mean, you talking about the remote stuff?
Yes, the remote. Yes, when you remote.
Yeah. Well, when we came out here, well, I used to do it. I used to hire a friend of mine, a great bass player, Hussein Jifri, who's a great engineer as well as a great bass player. And he had a studio. So what I would charge, I'd ask him, look, what do you need for studio and engineering and all that? And I would add that into the fee or whatever. But anyway, when we came out to Austin, Texas, that's where I live now, and we had extra money from the house, so we built this studio that I have here now. Just, it's a box, really, and then soundproofed it and made it nice, with lights and whatever. And I got my computer, and you have this thing called an interface, which hooks up the mic to the computer program, which is called Logic Pro, and that puts the sound in the computer. And so, and then I had mics and set the stuff up, and I really don't know I didn't know anything about anything other than being in the studios, working in the studios and watching guys set up, mics over the drums and whatnot. And then for what I didn't know, there were these really nice tutorials. This is a fellow out of Virginia, and I can't think of his name offhand, but really informative, just real basic stuff. And so then I did that, and then when we got it all ready, I recorded some stuff, and I sent it to some engineers, and they said, don't change anything. It sounds great. The room sounds great, blah, 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 and as far as my limited knowledge, which I'm still learning, it seems to me that it's about, well, first of all, it's about mic placement. It's about mic placement. It's about knowing how to tune the drums and just knowing how to play in general. It's like, I truly believe, this is what I believe, that it's 95% the person that makes the instrument sound the way it sounds, or 98%, and the rest is mechanics, You have to tune the drums nice and get it to sound good and translate into the mics really nice. And some guys, that's all I can tell you. I can't get really technical about it. And, so when they say it sounds great, I go, okay, I'm not touching anything, If anything breaks or sounds, I'll find out why it broke or why it doesn't sound right. You ask questions, just like anything. Yeah, and when we got here, I just started doing some sessions, and then just got more and more and more and more, and it's fun. I like being in the same room with 3 other people or 4 or 5 other people or whatever, and record it, because really that's the fastest and most what would you say, efficient way of recording something, because you're right there. If you want any changes, the other guy's in the room, But I love it. It's great. Like right now, I'm doing this this producer, and let's see if I have. Yeah, hang on 1 second. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, I have it right here. Hold on, Rodrick. Sorry, man. His name is Milos Markovic.
Okay.
And he's a producer that lives in Serbia, or maybe he's not in Serbia anymore. I don't know. But so he got in touch with me, and I'm doing I did 1 tune for him, and then he wants me to do 3 others, and they're heavy metal.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, trying to get a thing, with the heavy metal thing. And it's great. It's like, after I talk to you, I'm going to try and finish it, because I'm going to have a gig tonight with this really great organ player. His name is Red Young.
Okay.
I played with Eric Burton, and we're playing at this place called the Continental Gallery.
That's going to be nice.
Downtown. Oh, yeah. So we're going to have a lot of fun. So I'm going to try and finish it up. If I don't, then, I'll finish it up on Thursday or Friday. But I have this tune and I have 2 other tunes to do. Heavy metal. Who'd have thought?
Awesome. Before we end the show, when you all was on the stage, always on stage, did you ever have performance anxiety?
Maybe if there was a lot of information that I needed, but not to the point of getting super worried about something. Just basically being on your toes. That's about it. And just making sure that you got it happening. I mean, if that's what that is, I don't. And then
what I'm saying.
Yeah, and once you play that first note, you go, okay, we're in. That's when you stop thinking and you just do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ricky Lee Jones had, she's a great artist. I don't know if you know who she is.
Yeah.
She's, Chucky's in Love, and, she did a great record called Pirates, among other records that she's done. And I was on the road with her, and there was so much information because she would change, I wouldn't say she would change every minute, but she might want to change this, change that, And I used to pace up and down the backstage. And I thought maybe I was the only one that was doing it, because okay, so remember this, remember that. And then there's this guy, Sal Bernardi, who's an incredible multi-instrumentalist, and he's very cool, wearing these smoke shades, smoke whatever you call it, shades. He's wearing the hat, and he's very cool. The kind of like a very hip-looking guy, beatnik beard, very kind of cool. And I remember I'm walking one way this one night. I'm walking one way down the backstage, and he would be the guy furthest from my mind that would be worried about anything. And I remember he was walking the opposite way I was walking, and we met in the middle. And he put his sunglasses down, and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, you're doing it too." That just made me laugh. And then we went on stage, and everything was cool. It's I mean, it was always cool. She was really fun to. I mean, it was a good experience working with her. Well, everybody I've worked with, learned a lot. So there you go.
Okay, so Tom, what do you have to say to the world before we end this show positively?
Thank you for listening. Keep it going. And
awesome.
Whether and just if you play music, play it. If you listen to it because music's a great thing. It's just it lifts you up, no matter what you like. So playing, listening, just having fun listening to it. I mean, that will at least help you along the way.
Awesome. So, Tom, do you have any platforms that you can be reached at?
Well, Facebook, YouTube. Let's see. I guess Twitter. I mean, these are things I advertise on,
Okay.
And that's pretty much it,
Awesome.
I mean, I do the TikTok thing, but that's solely for advertising,
Yes.
I don't go look at a TikTok, whatever, I mean, whatever floats your boat, but, it's like, but, those basic media, avenues, so to speak.
Awesome.
So that's pretty much it, Rodrick, thanks so much for having me, man. It's great to talk with you again.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So I hope to have you on the next show or anytime that's coming soon, okay?
Yeah, anytime.
All right.
You playing? Are you? Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm listening. What you got to say?
I was asking you, are you playing a lot over there?
Yes, I do. I play every Sunday and Saturday. I play for churches, and then I play for whoever calls me.
Nice.
Yes. So it says dignity has always gotten us through. It is always a choice, and not always the easy one, but always the people I respected most in life made it again and again every single day. Michelle Obama, be blessed.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to keep going.
Always as your host, Rodrick Swift, and boy, do I have the Swift sauce for you. Musicians Matters Podcast, live right here, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Wednesday on all digital platforms on Positive Power 21 Christian Media LLC. Let's go!